All right. Hey folks, welcome to SnapCast episode 11. Today we're going to be featuring The Hall of Suffering, a snap map which is a collaboration map by Stony Fever 57649 and Lack of Reason. And I have one of those authors here today. Yeah, just one, I think. No Stony. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Snapcast. So first up, we got the author of Garrock's Pantheon, Count Lazuli. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Glad to join.
Awesome. Also, we got the author of this map, Lack of Reason, joining us for the first time, I believe. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited for this.
Awesome. Someone's got a birthday, I wonder who. Someone's got a birthday, I wonder who. Is it the author of Dimension Crisis, Sickly Shimly?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay. Also, we got the author of Halo Canyon Assault, The Soviet Onion. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic today. How are you?
Couldn't be better. And lastly, we've got the author of Revenant Evil Eternal, which is a map that's going to be published soon. Finchatolla, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Awesome. So everyone's got the video pulled up. You ready to do the countdown?
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
So 3, 2, 1, play. And this is the Hall of Suffering here. A little bit of going through the author here. A little bit
It appears that rewinding the video has caused mine to go into potato mode when it comes to video quality. Oh, never mind. It's gone a bit higher.
Hey, Ragnarok. We did that before.
Yes. Yeah, because this was a collab one too.
Hooray for collab maps.
Yeah, I think Stony and Finch, in my opinion, have been kind of keeping a lot of Snapmap alive as of late.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of ambition
Yeah.
there.
And we have a lot of pretty amazing maps, so.
Yeah.
And I play them still.
Well, I'll
It
just
takes
say
too long to make my maps.
Me too. Me too. I take years.
I know I make a map like every other year.
Other things.
Back on my old profile, I used to pump out a map. At least, like sometimes it would be literally like 1 or 2 maps a weekend. However, now it's like 1 map every couple months.
It's always good to take some time.
One or 2
My
months.
maps tend to be huge projects that take way too long to make. That's why they take forever to come out.
Yep, same here.
I mean, within good reason, you know?
You know it's a crazy map when it takes a while to load.
Yeah, all that network.
Yeah, I noticed that when I played it. Took a really long time to load up.
I mean, it was worth it though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just say it now, this is one of the best Snap maps I've ever played.
Oh. Right, come on.
Should I start counting how many times you said that?
Said what?
This is the one of the best Snap maps you ever played.
It is.
Hmm.
It really is.
Well, then it should be worthy of a Snapcast, right?
If it's here, then it has to be good. No doubt about it.
Oh, we got a little jack-o'-lantern right there.
What if I said that once it said starting match and had the little thing going around? I thought my video was buffering.
Reminds me of Nightmare
Oh, yeah,
Before
that.
Christmas.
This whole little hallway thing, I just kind of made out of a whim. Like, I was just thinking, like, I made the first arena, and I was just thinking, this is kind of more of an intro than that, and then I just made that, and then went through, like, a couple different designs, and then just kind of ended at that. But I just thought, man, this looks, pretty dark and scary, so, good way to start the map.
By the way, I
pretty
love
cool.
it whenever I see chains in a map. Any map, I love the giant chains.
Well, yeah, chains, well, can't go wrong without them.
And I see you have a perfectly round portal right there, too.
I hate making circles, and I'm proud of that.
Courtesy of story.
Circles
Yeah, I
are
think-
always hard as hell to make. When normally your only tools are like squares or rectangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually never made perfect circles in Snapmap before. At least in terms of like windows and stuff.
That's the name of a band, isn't it? Perfect Circle.
Good band.
Maynard's band.
I think the hardest thing I've ever made in a snap map was is for a collaboration between Justin, JRcrash, and I, and someone else joined. I don't remember who it was though. I think it was Fluffy. But I made this giant monster out of Geo that Crash animated. And making the membranes for the wings on this monster was the hardest thing I've ever did.
Wow.
Oh wait, what,
That map will never see the
published?
light of day, I guarantee it.
It's not published yet.
It never will
Get
be.
it done, guys.
Oh, that's up to Justin right now. And
Yeah.
if he needs help with something, he can put up the bat signal.
But anyway, back to
It's
this one.
currently AWOL right now.
Right now, I'm just kind of like, all right, Justin, if you want, you know, I don't know, giant nipples on your map or something, you do what you feel is right. I've got work of my own that I'm doing too.
But anyway, back to this map.
Oh,
I
somebody
do
tried
like the
this.
little
Yeah,
arena
nice.
combat that's happening right now.
Yeah,
I find nothing more enjoyable than watching the chainsaw animation on a Mankius.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the guts just come out smoothly.
I want to
Yeah.
point out. I want to point out that I'm actually a big fan of the color scheme of this room. I've always been a fan of black, white, and purple. I don't know why. It's just always done well for me.
It does look nice.
Yeah, I like the color scheme. It's good.
Oh,
Yeah, I just like purple in general. So when I saw Stony do the little, the goo and whatnot and all this, I like really loved it instantly. And it just looks really good.
And anytime like light comes through the walls or ceilings, and you can see like the patterns on the walls, it looks really cool through like the shadows and stuff.
Yeah. Light has been a pain in the ass for me in Snapmap sometimes, especially if you're trying to make like side rooms within a larger module. I take it this one's in the middle.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't
Yeah,
understand
pretty
what-
much.
I probably wouldn't understand that considering the fact that my most recent map, which is the first remake of the Dimension Crisis series, I probably wouldn't understand it because there are only 2 rooms that actually use custom Geo in it.
So who made this room? Was this Stony or Lack of Reason?
Well, okay, I started it, and I guess Stony kind of knew what I was going for, and it pulled it off quite well, even I know that. So he basically, redesigned it and whatnot, and it looks really amazing because of that.
Dude,
I might
Dude,
steal
those-
that circle later.
forget about the circle. I actually love those amethysts that you've got formed around everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like pretty much one of the last things Stony added design-wise. I don't know why he thought about it. He was just like, put these crystals,
The circle is still nice. I just really like those. I never seen someone do crystals in Snapmap before. And that's kind of a new thing to me, which I'm surprised because it shouldn't be too hard to create crystals. With
We're on the second arena, Stony.
No, I think this was really cool. I like the demon head that you have. I think it could have maybe used maybe a point light on it or something though.
Or maybe fire emanating from its eyes or something like that.
Yeah, just to get a better look at the Geo.
Yeah, this room, pretty much both of the arenas, I just came up with just because I was just like thinking, like I said, the intro to this this boss fight, boss rush thing. And this one specifically, I just I was placing lights on the edges, and I forgot, to light up. I turned off the lights in the middle of the room, and I forgot to light that. I played it, and I was just like, dang, this actually looks really cool. So I just kept the lights on the side. And yeah, I really like the way it turned out.
Largest candles you'll ever see.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if those are scented candles. What do you think it is, like burning human stench scent or something?
Probably.
I mean, there's a bunch of skulls on the bottom, so probably, yeah.
Hey, I'm up there! Yay!
The Soviet onion.
The stench of a public bathroom.
Yeah. There's some vents out there.
Little stage select area.
I love those. I love those little portals.
Yeah, it was originally gonna be
so many times.
you could select any boss.
A combination of classic.
What I love about these boss fights is that they get crazier and crazier as it goes on.
Yeah.
And they also have really, really good backstories, pretty well set up for, a little minor thing to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something me and Stoney thought about, but didn't really think of doing until the end, because it was just something to add on, make it a little cooler to fight them and whatnot.
What I like is that you can skip them.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
You can jump over the barriers if you climb on the Geo, and you can still do it up to this, you could do it today. I know Stoney attempted to fix it when I told him about it, but you can still do it.
Oh man, I didn't even realize that.
And before, I don't know if you still can do it, but you could potentially jump over that barrier that's blocking that.
You can't anymore, but you could before, yeah.
Now,
I'm pretty sure if you jump on one of those bars, you can climb over. I don't know if it was patched recently, but I was able to do it with my friend a couple days ago.
it's got a really interesting dynamic how you're down here and the boss is shooting you from up there. Now, if you spend too long trying to stay up in that area, he'll throw you back down. Which I think is a cool dynamic, even for something as simple as a Revenant AI in a preset module. That's a creative battle.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind it, was made way back in 2016, and I thought for this map, that's the first boss I should start with, because it was, I'd say my best little neat idea. And as for the pushing you back, it's because that's a really good vantage point to just keep shooting him with the rockets. So I was like, you're gonna kill him too easily, so I had him push you back, make it a little more, less easier. Because it's pretty easy to just destroy him up there.
So did you mostly do all of the rooms, and then Stony Fever just did sort of like the geo and the animation, or how did you guys divide up the roles on building this?
Well, we weren't working on that at first. I actually, asked, and Finch knows this, but I asked, Stoney to basically help me with it, specifically the geo bosses. So I had the rooms already made before. Stoney just basically, made them, the last room specifically, made it redesigned it to make it work for the boss better. But I pretty much had everything already done, and yeah, he pretty much did the animations and whatnot. For the Twisted Souls I did it, and he reworked it. The abomination was pretty much all him designing it. I kind of just told him what I wanted it to look like, gave a few reference images. So that's pretty much what happened for the bosses. And I really appreciate Stoney for that.
One thing I really like about this fight here is how, in the second phase of the battle, how the upcoming boss actually intervenes as a new factor in the fight.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Not my best playing here, but somehow I don't die.
Yeah, somehow you also skipped that part of the fight.
I like how sometimes the Revenant will actually come out swinging through the barrier too.
Yeah, that's just it's a weird thing that happens.
Yeah, but at one point I recall there was a glitch where you could jump around the barrier and like chainsaw the Revenant and instantly ended the fight. Now, I was the only one I think I actually found that glitch, and I'm pretty sure it's patched by now because you can't climb over that barrier. That's really
Yeah, you can't.
So is it just too short? Is that what it was?
You could jump around it or jump on top and climb over it, so you can get over the barrier.
Okay.
Because you could, like, it only encompassed up to the point where the bars of the actual, normal module room ended, and you could just jump around it.
Okay.
So how did this map play co-op wise anyways?
As I recall, we had a lot of issues early on, like, because I helped playtest it.
Yeah, a lot of issues, like countless.
You literally could not play it two-player because there was this weird bug with on-count not reached causing instant crashes for co-op. It was I don't even know why on-count not reached doesn't cause crashes. But
It's really strange, yeah.
you can play it three-player, but two-player works best because three players, one of the players might end up crashing at some point.
Yeah,
The production of multiplayer maps tend to be like twice as hard because you can't just test a map. You usually got to find someone else to come in and play with you to make sure that there aren't any co-op bugs going on.
Yeah.
Not to mention you need a lot of what is it? Player, not integers. Is it iterators? Player.
Yeah, player iterators.
Yeah. Trying to play most things like even something as simple as a loadout can be really difficult to do. It's really weird.
Like one thing I did with my first map was because that too was a co-op map, and I was aware of the fact that a player might go into one arena, but the other might choose to go somewhere else. So when someone entered the portal, I had iterators, so it sent all the players to that arena.
And there's also a lot more multiplayer issues because certain things cannot be in a map, and otherwise they'll just kill the knock out the second player.
Yeah, like main objectives and sub objectives.
Even like if you're gonna have something like a live system, even that gets a lot more complicated.
If you want to add, generally any custom mechanics have to have mechanics individually for each player, and that can really, mess up. Yeah, it basically messes up how much space you'll have left. Because if those mechanics take up a ton of space, they're gonna take up a ton of space if you have to add more players with each mechanic.
Sometimes I do like to have players share resources and stuff because then they actually have to coordinate how they're going to work together and who gets what. This was an interesting boss fight. The boss here reminds me of something like Dead Space and Silent Hill mixed together, or even like a Resident Evil looking monster.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that actually makes kind of sense, yeah.
The only problem I had with this boss fight, which is patched out later, was how you had to fight two summoners along with a bunch of other enemies while also trying to shoot the boss. Now, there were waves, so you could easily take care of them and then go back to shooting the boss, but having to deal with summoners is not fun.
When I played after the summoners were removed. I believe that's when I played it. Now when I remember fighting me.
It kind of reminds me of one of those face huggers from Aliens.
Oh,
that's what everyone calls it.
Yeah, it is a face hugger. Look at it.
This is what I'm
meaty hands.
It's definitely very HR Giger, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely has that HR Giger element to it. It has the. Isn't that thing basically a rib cage with a mouth going down the middle?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And then you got got, I guess, armpit hairs on the sides with like fireballs.
You know what it actually reminds me of now that I look at it more? Is, you guys saw the movie The Thing? John Carpenter's The Thing?
Yeah.
Like
remember when he's trying to do the chest compressions and he goes through that guy's chest and it's like his chest turns into teeth and bites his arms off? That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, like the chest opens up and it's got all these teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting that this is supposed to be like two entities in one. I guess.
Yeah, part of the backstory.
So I guess the hands are like
They're just chilling with the souls that they've murdered, just because.
must be awkward. And sent you to hell. How you doing?
I'm pretty sure like the main body is supposed to be the many souls, and like the hands are whatchamacallit, the kings.
Okay.
So most of this design was lack of reasons because I played this before Stony added stuff, and I must say this is what really impressed me. And I was like, hey, you got to talk to Stony to help you with the rest of this map because he had to really get started here.
Does this boss fight scale with other players? So this is what I call it. Oh yeah, me and my friend played it, and it took us forever to kill the boss.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, if I play with anyone, I could pretty much solo that, even without the help. I mean, yeah, I know I'm the map maker, but like, it does definitely have more help.
Bullet spongy wise, I didn't know if the bosses were, that this boss was, in, like, more health for how many players are in the map.
Yeah, it does that, yeah.
I think the one mechanic, which is right here, is what stands out to me where you have with the platforming moments.
It doesn't immediately punish you for not being on the platforms either. It's not like incidental not being on them.
It gets you ready for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much Sony's favorite attack.
If it was one of my maps specifically back in like all my old profile, I probably would have made it instant death.
So the map just told us to, challenge the abomination if you dare. But what if you did dare? You just leave the map then?
Yeah, you just quit.
Actually, so funnily enough,
You quit the match, you report it and downvote it, and then you walk away.
Funnily enough, I was inputting, I took it away, but I actually had an ending where you could leave, but you would basically be stuck in there forever if you chose to leave. It would just show like a camera, like the camera would show a room with like a bunch of bodies and like an elite guard representing you. So I actually did have an option.
This is my favorite part of the map.
Oh, no kidding. This is
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part.
That's some heavy lore right there. Like, that's unbelievably amazing lore.
Yeah.
That's too much lore for me. I can't handle all that.
I actually like that it doesn't try to explain it. It just sort of leaves it up to your imagination.
This boss is just insane.
Like a gas cannon, like our shotgun.
Yeah, this is like
Like
probably
that is
one of
like
the
a
best custom
Snapmap
deal bosses in
dream
Snap.
boss right there. Look at this thing.
The blinking eyes.
The thing I
And it follows you
the
too.
most would be the music.
Yeah, the remix for Requiem for a Tower, I think is what it's called.
Dream.
Requiem for a Dream?
Yeah.
Was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was Tower for some reason.
I think it's actually called Lux Eterna, or either that's like the author thing, I don't remember.
I mean, I've heard this.
Or
I've
at
heard
least
this
once
song.
more.
I've heard the song like 1,000 times, but I still think it's cool to hear it in this. And you don't get a lot of custom music is a very rare thing in Snapmap.
I just can't do it.
The funny thing was, the day that I watched Finchatolla's playthrough of this, I was actually making a tree myself in Snapmap, thinking like, man, this could be the coolest tree ever. And then I come and watch this video, I'm like, oh god damn it.
I especially like the top of the tree because you see chains and other weird growths on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the thin branches and just how well curled they all are.
You know what my fiance called this custom boss?
What?
She called it Treela, because it's like a mix between Leela from Futurama and a tree.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty similar. That's like in the lab for a while.
So the eye laser, does that only hit the front parts of the arena?
I think it's an area effect in like that small
Yeah, it's because it always did that before, and I told Stoney that like it would be too easy to avoid, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
But I guess it uses tendrils on the sides.
Yeah, that's basically just to look cool, but because the multiplayer, it was actually gonna, well, you know, it was actually gonna do some swipe attack, but because of multiplayer and network and whatnot, couldn't make that happen.
Probably one of the coolest things about this boss is the eye and how it follows you around. But you pay attention to that eye and it just does it so smoothly.
Yeah, all stones work, and it was really, you know, it was kind of funny at first because it wasn't as smooth as before, but yeah, we ended up making it look pretty neat.
So is there any strategy to avoiding his eye laser, or does it just keep moving?
You just move left to right.
Yeah, there's... I don't know if there's really a way to avoid being hit by it at all.
I think you can get hit by it once, but as long as you move out of the way, it's not going to follow you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Or you can trick him to firing it, but you move right before, you know, he fires. Because I believe there's audio cues for the firing.
I always enjoyed boss fights like this where you're not in some big arena, but instead you're kind of on like a catwalk or something.
Remember the original design for this thing was going to be the Halo 2 Gravemind.
Makes sense. I can see it now that you mention it.
Yeah, and then it was given to Sony.
Yeah, I have that Gravemind. I'm probably going to use it in a map. Possibly a Halo 2 map. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, the tree with an eye shoots lasers at you.
Well, like that
the little faces on the side and whatnot.
I never noticed.
Wait, did you say faces on the side?
You see right next to the eye, like those little red lights? Those are like faces. Kind of like the one you saw. You can see them you saw one at the side of the game when you enter in that little dark tunnel.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that's what that is. I was wondering what those red lights were. Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh.
Because this is mainly designed or based off of Project Sun from House of the Dead 3.
I don't remember that one.
Well, obviously it's like a giant tree, like, plant thing, and he has like a bunch of faces on the side, and they're really creepy. So Tony made the faces, and I love that. And that's the first thing you see when you start the map.
The first thing it
how
reminded
the eye
me of
gets
was
redder
the,
and redder
the
as
Great
you kill
Deku
it.
Tree from Zelda. Like the evil version of the Great Deku Tree.
It is kind of like that, isn't it? See, like, I would have even played this match just for this boss fight alone.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
Now, did you guys,
I'm just surprised how up to this point I never actually figured out where like all the things that were used to make the song work.
They're hiding in like the upper corner of one of their rooms. As I recall.
Yeah, the spawn room, actually, I'm pretty sure. And it's like right next to the spawn.
Stone needs to publish a map with just his music on it, because he's got like at least 3 or 4 different songs.
So how does how much does like one of those songs like fill in terms of like network or objects or something?
I don't actually remember. But I didn't think I'm pretty sure it wasn't that much. Maybe like in terms of network, it was like 3 network or something like that. I can't remember.
I think the best thing about this boss fight is the fact that it does not need any enemies to actually make it like decent boss fight. It just needs itself. Like you don't have to rely off of AI in the boss fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things. The main thing that I wanted from Stony was a boss that needed no AI, which is not easy to make.
Right.
Like, they really gotta pull your attention the entire time. They have to be so threatening that should there be any AI, you're pretty much done. So that, so it really just doesn't need it. Because those are the type of bosses I prefer. Ones that you don't need, that don't have AI minions.
Yeah, ones that don't sit in the corner and let the little ones go to work.
Yeah. Well, one great thing about there not being an AI is that there's no score mining. There's no like unlimited score potential. So, it is actually based off of just your skill, not necessarily just your patience.
Yeah. I know that I do have I know that in some of my maps I do have bosses where they do have minions. However, the thing is, for each minion you kill, the boss will heal X amount of health.
I love how his eye gets red as he gets more damage. It's great for these.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of like an old like Metroid boss, or even those other Metroidvania style games. Where the boss gets red and red.
Eyes. You mean those eyeballs? So ones that shoot Cackle Demon balls at you. I think they're in later versions.
Well, I mean, I was going through the map and I did find that there was a Caco demon in there.
Love your emotes, JR.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's like an awesome map. One of the best bosses right there.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, well,
One of the best bosses.
I'm really glad you guys liked it.
Like is an understatement.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like from you. One of the best maps. I wouldn't say that, but
Where's JRcrash on that list?
Oh, he'll be there.
I think all the scores got wiped for like all maps back like a month ago. So
Yeah.
you can't even find his score on anything anymore.
That's gotta suck. That's why I was never like a very big into being like the top dog on the scoreboard anyway. So it does suck for anybody that like really went out of their way to try to be number one, though.
Yeah, but I know it sucked for the map authors because if they wanted to keep the scores, they had to either write it down in the map or like permanently, or just screw that guy and just update the map.
Well, at least on the bright side, we probably got a lot of map updates from that because a lot of people didn't want to update because they didn't want to wipe the leaderboard. So hey, if the leaderboard's wiped, you might as well update your map.
All right, time to make coronavirus instead of antivirus.
Yeah. All right, so that was Hall of Suffering. Well, let's go ahead and get into some final thoughts about the map. I want to give Lack of Reason the final word, so I'm going to start out with Count Lazuli. What do you think about this map?
Oh man. So I'll start because the main reason why I wanted to talk about this map here was for a particular portion of it. But I think it's fair to discuss the map as a whole. I think there was some pretty cool arenas. I don't think they're arenas that are gonna stick with me in memory for all time, but they're definitely decent. I think with the use of the first two bosses, you definitely flipped some things around and tried some creative little angles with it. But the Abomination is, you went crazy with the design, you went crazy with the mechanics, and I don't know what to say. It's just a really well done boss fight, and it makes the entire map. And as I said earlier, you almost didn't even need the rest of that stuff. You could literally just have maybe like a three, or you could put like a Psychotron and have like 3 arenas and then fight the final boss or something. But like, this is definitely a map that better be remembered. Because I know Snapmap isn't, it's not what it used to be. I don't think a lot of maps get super iconic anymore. But I think
Especially
like
because they can no longer hit the featured page.
well, yeah, exactly. That's part of the reason. But I really do wish that a lot of the major Snapmappers that were around during the beginning, before my time, were sticking around a little bit more often, being more prevalent, because whether people realize it or not, there's a lot of good maps that are coming out as of late. And this is a perfect example of it. In fact, this very map here has inspired me with the idea to make like a top 10 Geo Boss video or something like that. Anyway, I'll give the speaker to someone else.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Lazuli. Definitely is a badass custom Geo Boss, no doubt about it. Sickly Shimly, what are your final thoughts about this map?
All of the whole map itself is well done, definitely better than anything that I've been able to pull off lately. But the thing that got me the most was the fact that the Abomination was surprisingly difficult, considering the fact that it's a custom Geo Boss. Whereas, no offense, but with Psychotron, I could actually stand in the back of the room and spam BFG to claim victory.
Yeah. Is that
Meanwhile, this boss has me running back and forth in absolute terror.
Yeah. Definitely much more well designed for sure. And doesn't even have to rely on any demons. It's just a standalone boss.
Yeah.
So is that your final thought?
But I think that's where the difference comes from the two. Like, whereas with Psychotron, such custom Geo bosses have either never been done by that point, or Psychotron was just one of the first of those bosses where they actually had moving parts.
I think it was the first.
And were completely made of custom Geo.
There were custom Geo bosses that existed before Psychotron, but that was the first one that got animated. Which is the only reason why it got popular. So, but yeah.
Like, I know my first fight against Psychotron, I died, but in my second play of the map, I just tore through the boss. Meanwhile, with the Abomination, I didn't die against it, but it certainly had me on my toes throughout the entire fight. Because back with Psychotron, the problem was the enemies. They were my only worry because it was Barons and Mangu. Meanwhile, here the boss itself is what had me on my toes. That's all I got for now.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Definitely the boss is what I'm going to remember about this map the most. Soviet Onion, what are your final thoughts about this map?
I'd like to say that you can definitely see the amount of hard work these guys put into this map to make it as awesome as it is. Because it, like, just throughout the map, you can see like how hard they tried, and even as I helped playtest them, you can see how they were trying to make this map as great as they could. Especially with the boss fights, because you can see how much effort they put into them with custom music. The bosses actually relying on themselves and not off of demons and AI. It's a really, really cool map, and I actually really enjoy playing it.
Okay.
But that's really all I got to say, because I think everyone else has really covered basically it, especially Lazuli.
Well said, man. I agree. Finchatolla, what are your final thoughts about the map?
This map is fantastic. I was really impressed with what Lack of Reason had put into the map before Stony had got involved, and he had a good base to start with. And Stony, what he does with everything else is he turns everything into gold. So with him helping, it was bound to be pretty good. And it was that when I saw the last Abomination boss, my mind was blown. Like I was like, that eye, just sick. The blinking, following you everywhere, and the attacks, and yeah, Stony is now like, you know, he has his own personal category in Snapmap for custom geo bosses that don't need AI to, you know, help defeat them, and it's really damn impressive.
All right. Yeah, no kidding. Stoney's freaking madman, no doubt about it. So, yeah, I've got some final thoughts about this map. Overwhelmingly good. First of all, the custom geo is great. Starting out in the very first room, you know, those crystals. I mean, they're very basic, but so effective as just those amethyst crystals growing on the wall. And the custom geo was very nice in this whole map. The room variety was great. I like how it starts out as like an arena combat type of gameplay, and then it moves on to you know, you get to go to that stage select room, and then there's like that little boss with the Revenant, and then there's those two custom geo bosses later on. So I like how the map has a lot of variety. It's not just sort of the same sort of thing over and over. And I also love the, you know, you got a little bit of custom mechanics there with so far as, well, not custom mechanics necessarily, but like the recharge pickups, how you have to navigate to use those. I thought those were well placed, especially in the Revenant fight. I like how the bosses all have like background lore that if you want to know about it, it's there for you to enjoy. But I also like the fact that you can skip it. It's not something that, you know, is in your face and you gotta. It's not like a pop-up that you have to be confronted with. So that's cool. I also love the fact that this map is co-op enabled, which is something you rarely see nowadays, especially since there aren't that many people playing co-op at all. I just love the fact that you guys went out of your way to make sure that, you know, if you do have a buddy that you can play with, that they can enjoy this map together. And we need more of that. So I love the fact that you guys went ahead and made it co-op enabled. Big credit for that. And of course, the cool custom geo bosses. I'll get into that a little bit more with the Abomination. And the custom geo music towards the end, that was a beautiful touch, I think. Having that, actually using the music notes to form a little score, final boss score. That's lovely.
Yeah.
And of course, my final point is just the Abomination itself. Obviously, that's sort of the highlight of this map. I think everyone who plays this map, that's what they're going to remember most about it, is the Abomination, that tree, that custom geo tree monster with the eye that follows you and shoots lasers. Just a beautiful design, very creative, and the mechanics fighting it is fantastic. I love how it's like a standalone boss. It's got such smooth animations, and it's just beautifully balanced. Yeah, and you know, there's really nothing negative I have to say about this map. I mean, I'm not even going to bother coming up with a nitpick because I don't really feel like doing that. It was just all around really great, and it's cool collaboration. So yeah, thanks for making it. I definitely appreciate seeing people are still making cool snap maps, especially with such creative custom geo bosses like that. That's definitely a cool thing to see, and I can certainly appreciate all the effort and time that went into doing that. You know, because I've kind of messed around with custom geo bosses myself, and that is a lot more complicated than anything I've ever made as far as custom geo bosses, because you know, you actually had to have it so that the you know, the eye tracks you and that the laser tracks you, and I guess I could tell there's a lot of logic that had to go into making that work, and that there's no way to really just sort of cheese it. And so yeah, I totally appreciate all the skill and time and effort that must have gone into pulling that off. So big kudos for me. And those are my final thoughts about the Hall of Suffering. Lack of reason, I'm going to give you the final word. Go ahead and say what you share your final thoughts about this map.
first thing I'd like to say then is I'm really glad that, you know, a lot of people played it and, you know, really, really enjoyed it. What do you think? It's a pretty solid map, one to be remembered and even possibly featured if, you know, that was able to be done. The map, yeah, we really did put a lot of hard work into it. It took a lot longer and it went through a lot of transformations to get to where it did today, and I really got to thank Stony for a lot of that. You know, he worked really hard with it too, like, especially with the Geno bosses, you know, the Abomination mostly, and I mean, like, I couldn't thank him enough, to be honest. I really, when I was making this alone, I really didn't think it would ever get to where it was. You know, it's amazing, and, like, it took a lot, and especially for the co-op, especially for it to be co-op, there's a lot of times where me and Stoney we felt pretty defeated trying to make it co-op because it was just so difficult to make it playable with 4 players, so we had to go down to 3 players, and even then, I didn't recommend it. It's recommended to play with only 2 players for, you know, to go through the whole map, even though it's possible. So, I mean, it's just, it's really awesome, you know, it was a really good collaboration. I really liked, you know, working with Stoney, and the end product, I guess you guys can see that. You guys can see what we put into it. So that's my final thought. It's one of my favorite maps I ever made, you know, alongside Stoney. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. And I see Stoney in the chat here says the map plays differently in co-op, the encounters are harder, and the bosses also have unique differences. So that's worth noting. I guess the difficulty scales with the...
I should get one of my buddies to play with me then.
Yeah. There's scaling difficulty, I suppose. That's cool. So it's not like if you just play with co-op, you just run through it, you know, really easy.
Go through the map in less than 5 minutes.
No, that would suck. So, yeah, definitely have to get that.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. That was The Hall of Suffering by Stony Fever 57649 and Lack of Reason. Beautiful collaboration map. Absolutely got to check it out. I mean, if for no other reason, then you just gotta see this custom geo boss at the end. It's totally mind blowing, and all around a great map. Everyone loves it. That map ID is 2JUUZNPX, and that'll do it for SnapCast episode 11. I want to thank Count Lazuli. Thanks for being here.
No problem, man.
Lack of Reason, fantastic map. Thanks for joining us.
It was a pleasure, dude. It was a real pleasure.
Sickly Shimly, happy birthday. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Soviet Onion, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
And Finchatolla, glad to have you.
Yeah, it's always a blast.
All right, so that'll do it. If anybody wants to join in on the next Snapcast, there will be a Discord link in the description below. Just go ahead and click that, and you can be part of the next chat for the next Snapcast. You know, help us decide what map needs to be featured next. That's an important thing. And that'll do it. Everybody have a great weekend, and until next time, peace out.